Tonight, sometime after midnight, you're going to open your eyes. The room is dark, the house is silent. You don't remember waking up. You just are. And you turn your head, and you look at the clock. 3 o'clock. You lie there. Your mind starts to turn, and a small quiet dread settles in because you know you're supposed to be asleep, and you're not. But here's what nobody ever told you. For almost all of human history, that moment, waking in the dead middle of the night, wasn't a problem. It wasn't a symptom. It was expected. Every night. By everyone. So why do you wake up at 3 a.m.? And why does it feel so wrong? The answer changes everything you think you know about sleep, your own mind, and the dark. Let's start with sleep. Because the way you sleep right now, one long block, 8 hours straight through, is new. Much newer than you'd think. In 2001, a historian named Roger Ekirch at Virginia Tech published a paper that quietly rewrote sleep science. He'd spent years buried in old diaries, court records, medical books, prayer manuals, and he kept finding the same two phrases over and over. First sleep and second sleep. People didn't sleep in one block, they slept in two. You'd go to bed not long after dark, you'd sleep for about 4 hours, and then around midnight, around 1 in the morning, you'd wake, naturally, and you'd stay awake for an hour, sometimes more. This wasn't a malfunction. It was so normal it had a name. They called it the watch. And then you'd lie back down for your second sleep until morning. Ekirch found more than 500 references to this in his first paper. He's now found over 2,000 in a dozen languages, going all the way back to ancient Greece. It's there in Homer. It's there in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. This wasn't one village or one strange century. This was simply how human beings slept. And the hours in between, the watch, weren't wasted time. People prayed, they talked quietly to whoever was lying beside them, they had sex, they thought about the dreams they'd just had. There were even physicians who recommended it, who wrote that the time between the two sleeps was the best time to conceive a child. For thousands of years, the middle of the night was awake time. Quiet, private, half-lit awake time. This wasn't insomnia. This was the shape of an ordinary night. But maybe that's just history. Old habits, old beds, drafty houses. Maybe your body doesn't actually want this anymore. It does. And we know that because someone tested it. In 1992, a psychiatrist named Thomas Wehr at the National Institute of Mental Health ran an experiment. He took healthy people and he took away their light for 14 hours every night. Basically sundown to sunrise, he kept them in darkness. The way your ancestors lived before the light bulb. At first, they just slept. On years of being tired. But after a few weeks, something happened. Their sleep split in two, about 4 hours. Then a window of quiet wakefulness. Then 4 hours more. Without being told to, without trying, they had fallen straight back into first sleep and second sleep. And here's the part that matters. That middle window wasn't restless. It wasn't anxious. When Wehr measured their hormones, he found their bodies were releasing prolactin, the same calm, settling hormone tied to deep rest and meditation. They didn't describe it as lying awake. They described it as peaceful, a state somewhere between sleeping and waking. So your body still has this. It's still in there. The wiring for a two-part night never actually went away. Which brings us to the real question. Why 3 a.m.? Why that exact hour? Because 3 a.m. is the bottom of you. Around 3, 4 in the morning, your core body temperature hits the lowest point of your entire day. Your melatonin, the sleep hormone, is near its peak. And right about then, something else quietly begins. Cortisol, your wake-up hormone, your stress hormone, starts to climb. It begins its rise between 2 and 3 in the morning, building slowly toward the surge that's meant to lift you out of bed at dawn. So at 3 a.m., you're sitting on a strange seam. Sleep pressure fading, cortisol rising, your sleep going lighter and lighter by the minute. It is biologically the easiest moment of the whole night to surface. And if you're stressed, if your cortisol is already running hot, that gentle rise doesn't stay gentle. It comes early, it comes hard, and it pulls you straight up out of sleep, eyes open, heart going, into the dark. This wasn't random. This was the watch arriving exactly on schedule. So if your body is built for this, if the middle of the night used to be completely ordinary, then why does waking at 3 a.m. feel like a punishment? Why the dread? The answer is the third thing, the dark, or really what we did to it. For 300,000 years, when the sun went down, the night came all the way in, and that long total 12-hour darkness is the thing that made two sleeps possible. There was nothing else to do. Sleep, wake, lie in the dark, sleep again. Then we started pushing the dark back. Street lamps in the 1600s, cheap candles, gas lamps across the 1800s. And then in 1879, Thomas Edison's light bulb. And the night, the real night, was over. We compressed sleep. We took that 12-hour dark and squeezed it down into 8. The two sleeps were pressed together into one solid block, and the watch, the waking in between, got crushed out of the schedule, and then out of memory. In 2013, researchers at the University of Colorado sent a group of people camping for a week, with no phones, no flashlights, no artificial light at all, just sunrise and sunset. And in 7 days their internal clocks reset, their melatonin shifting back by hours, back toward the rhythm your ancestors lived by every night of their lives. But in your bedroom, your body never gets that chance. Think about the last thing you look at before you close your eyes. A screen. Blue light. And blue light suppresses melatonin. It tells your brain it's still daytime, and it shoves your whole rhythm out of place. Yet your body still tries to wake for the watch. It still surfaces at 3 a.m., right on the ancient schedule. The difference is what's waiting for you there now. Not a quiet, expected hour, not prayer or your partner or your dreams, just darkness and silence and a glowing clock telling you you're doing it wrong. And here's the cruelest part. Of all the hours, 3 a.m. is when your brain is least equipped to handle that. Between 3 and 6 in the morning, the emotional centers of your brain, the amygdala, the parts that generate fear, are running near full power. While the part that's supposed to keep them in check, your prefrontal cortex, is still half asleep. So you wake into the dark with the alarm bells fully on and the brakes barely working. That's why the 3 a.m. thoughts are always the worst thoughts. Not because they're true, because of when they arrive. We didn't just lose an hour of sleep. We lost the meaning of an entire phase of the night. So think about what's really happening the next time it happens to you. You wake at 3 a.m. and the first thing you feel is that you're broken. It's something is wrong with you. We call it insomnia. We treat it like a disorder, something to fix, to medicate, to fight. But what if it isn't a disorder at all? What if waking in the dark in the dead middle of the night isn't your body breaking down, but your body remembering? Reaching for a watch that the world quietly deleted and finding it gone. For thousands of years your ancestors knew this hour. They woke into it on purpose. They prayed in it, loved in it, lay in the warm dark and let their minds wander. And then they slept again. And not one of them thought, for a single second, that anything was wrong. We traded all of that for a brighter night. We pulled the dark apart, pressed our sleep into one hard block, and forgot we'd ever done it. So the next time you open your eyes in the silence, and you turn your head, and the clock says 3 o'clock, don't be afraid, you're not broken. You're just awake in the hour we were never meant to lose, and most of us never even knew it was gone.